From Eddie Hearn claiming that he won't last a minute against top boxers, to Dana White calling him impossible to work with, this is why Francis Ngannou is not capable of competing with any highly ranked heavyweight boxers. He just doesn't have the skill. Many professionals and promoters have said this before, but while talking on the MMA Hour, Hearn claimed that the Cameroonian wouldn't do well in boxing. He said that Ngannou can't compete technically in a million years. He went on to say that there's absolutely no chance the Predator would last in the ring with any top heavyweights in the world. Guys like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Dylan White, and Derek Chisora would just poke and prod him until he tires himself out. Anthony Joshua is also up on that list, but Hearn wants to make a match between AJ and Ngannou. Even then, he doesn't think the former UFC champ would have much of a chance. There's one way the Predator can do something though. He can go all out. You all know how much power the Cameroonian packs in his fists. He's a natural heavyweight, and he looks a whole lot scarier up close. Hearn thinks that if Ngannou goes out there and is aggressive in the fight, he might stand some chance. As you know, he can put guys to sleep with a single clean strike. That's always a danger you need to account for when going up against a guy like Francis. You might be wondering why Hearn wants to throw his boy in front of Ngannou. Well, he's inspired by the Cameroonian story. Eddie revealed that he had a 2-hour lunch with Francis recently, and he was hooked by his life story. Hearn believes that more people really need to know about what this man has been through because it's just too inspiring. Apart from the story, AJ's promoter was also impressed by the man himself. That's why, even though Hearn doesn't think that Francis stands a chance in the world of boxing, he still wants to do something for the man. Right now, the UFC's former heavyweight king is jobless. He became a free agent at the end of the year. And since then, he has been in talks with several MMA and boxing promotions. But nothing solid has materialized yet. Ngannou has spoken up about a potential match with Deontay, and there has been a lot of teasing about Fury as well. So Hearn just wants to throw Joshua's name in the hat too. Might as well make some money off of it. The thing is, AJ can take this fight right now, because he's obviously eyeing up title fights in the future. So, much like everyone else, Eddie is probably flirting with Ngannou too. I mean, the Predator doesn't have anything lined up for sure, but maybe Hearn is right. Boxing might not be the thing for the Cameroonian. He doesn't have the skill set for it. If you don't believe me, or Eddie, then just look at his fights in the UFC. Francis is not technical at all. He's more of a brawler. He'll throw big punches, swing wildly, hoping just to catch his opponent with something. Now, 9 times out of 10, that something is gonna be enough. He has enough power to literally break jaws. But there's no setup, no counter-punching, no insane defensive head movement. And that's something that boxers train for from a very young age. Just look at all the greats in the sport. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and Tyson Fury all started when they were boys. But that's not the only thing lacking from Ngannou's arsenal. He also doesn't have enough stamina to go 12 rounds. He wants to end the fights as early as he can, since he really struggles when it goes into championship rounds. So you might have seen him gassed out in his fights in the UFC when it goes into later stages. But he has still been linked with some of the biggest names in boxing. Chael Sonnen might have gotten it right though. People don't want to fight Francis Ngannou. They want the UFC's heavyweight champ. And the Predator becomes significantly less lucrative without Uncle Dana standing over his shoulders. You see, the bad guy thinks that champions come and go, but the title stays. Conor McGregor wouldn't have landed the bout with Floyd Mayweather if Dana wasn't around. What's more, Sonnen also thinks that Ngannou has no idea what he's doing. He may have cut ties with the UFC, but now he's like a deer in the headlights. He just doesn't know how the business works. According to Chael, Ngannou thinks that he knocked a few people out, and now everyone is going to bid for him, and they'll be willing to pay him truckloads of money. But the reality is that the Predator is getting old. At 36, with a bad knee, there won't be any promotion that's going to pay him what he's asking for. The clock is ticking down on him, and he needs to figure it out before he loses it all. Weirdly enough, Chael isn't the only one who believes this. Even the BKFC president said something similar. In a recent interview, David Feldman revealed that his organization reached out to the former UFC champ. He hoped to sign him like they did with Ben Rothwell, but he revealed that Ngannou was asking for unrealistic money. Feldman even said that Francis needs to make up his mind about what he wants to do. Either sign with an MMA promotion or finalize something in boxing. Because right now, he's just being his own worst enemy. Every day that he chooses to sit out, he's losing value in the market. I guess Sonnen does know what he's talking about, and a promoter confirmed it as well. So the Predator should seriously consider making a move pretty soon, because he's a joke right now. It looks like Tyson Fury is having a laugh at the expense of the former UFC champ. Sonnen revealed that the Gypsy King put out an April Fool's joke on social media, saying that the match with Ngannou has been finalized for May 15th in Wembley Stadium. Now, it may seem harmless to you, but it's a pretty big deal when you come to think of it. Less than a year ago, Fury called out the Predator in the ring after his match against Dillian Whyte, and now he's mocking him openly on social media. That's pretty demeaning. And the worst part is that Francis can't do anything about it at all. I get that he wanted to pursue a career in boxing, but he really doesn't understand the politics and intricacies of that world. He knew MMA. Maybe he should have just stuck with it. Jose Aldo said that Ngannou shot himself in the foot by turning down the UFC deal. He explained that only the top athletes in boxing make big bucks. The rest probably make less than what fighters in the UFC do. Aldo also backed Dana up, saying that the promotion really does take care of their guys. They pay them really well, and that's why they are the top of the food chain in the world of MMA. Of course, he didn't mean any disrespect to the former heavyweight champ. Junior was speaking his mind about what he had heard on the subject. Connor also had a similar opinion. He told Ariel Helwani that the Cameroonian should have stayed loyal to the UFC, because it's the best there is. And you guys already know what the bad guy thinks about all of it. Ngannou should just call Dana, apologize, and make a return to the UFC. But that might be too late now. While talking on the Pat McAfee show recently, the UFC boss made it clear that Francis wouldn't be coming back. Whyte revealed that they tried to convince the Predator for almost 2 years, and that Hunter Campbell must have had about 75 dinners with Ngannou, just so that they could have him on board. They offered him a lot of money and showed him nothing but respect because they wanted to keep him. But now, that ship has sailed, and he won't ever have a place in the UFC again. Remember guys, Dana makes good on promises like that, so it's almost impossible that you'll see the Predator back in that cage again. So, from Dana White calling him impossible to work with, to Eddie Hearn claiming he won't last a minute against top boxers, this was why Francis Ngannou is not capable of competing with any highly ranked heavyweight boxers.